update with an English video, finally. Yes, I've been extremely busy with my new homepage and my subscription service in Swedish, unfortunately. And I've also been doing workshops here in Sweden. So hence, all the time I wish I had has not been available, but I hope to get some more time now so I can update you even in English on stuff that I talk about. So I hope to really establish some routine in my English videos. I really want to do more stuff in English, so I'm working on it, trust me. But I've been crazy busy and barely have time to do anything apart from my my work in the Swedish channel and my Swedish audience. But here we are, and I thought I would use this video to basically summarize some of the stuff that's been going on during, I don't know when I last updated a video here, I guess over a month or so. So I'm gonna basically center this video about where we are in the process right now, because that's mostly on everyone's mind at this moment, I guess. We need to interpret our own life in what's going on now in the external world, what is happening to us, where are we heading, should I be focusing on my normal life, my work, should I make long-time plans now, or are too much weird things going on, is it too unstable? How should I plan my life? Should I be concerned about my own safety, or should I just do my spiritual work? What should I do? Okay, I realized I have put up a lot of questions here, so let's see if I can answer all of them. But yes, where we are now in the process. Let's start with that and then just work from there. I usually begin with the year 2020, because that was basically when I was told this is the last step of the process, you can expect these and these things to happen. 2020, we got a full stop in our normal lives. So previous to that, we basically assumed that, yeah, world a bit crazy, but still pretty normal. It is what it is. But around 2020, with the so-called pandemic going on the outside, everyone's lives got a full stop. And many of us completely rethought everything we were doing in our life so far. And that was the purpose. And 2021, a new year, and this year the focus was on showing our true colors, meaning stepping out of the closet. We had to start to really affirm ourselves in a more showing way. So before 2021, it was possible to be spiritual while still being with your normal friends and co-workers, and you didn't have to make a big deal of it. If they weren't interested, you simply wouldn't raise the topic. But around 2021, there was a big fuss about whether you'd taken that syringe or not. Nobody would ever have guessed it, that it would be such a big fight over a syringe, but it was, and it symbolized obviously something else than this medical treatment. And there, many of us were in a position when we had to face both family and co-workers and take another decision than what they did. And then basically being called a bunch of names connected to our decision. And that was a year when many of us had to face this big decision about showing our true colors, be true to ourselves, or deny ourselves just to fit in our old world, our old life. And then came 2022. And that year I discussed was a year with still the process of working on blockages. Working on everything still unresolved in your life. And the process then were so focused on what you still had to work with in yourself, and it was not as focused on the outside. And we could see that 2022 was not as 2021 was. But more than that, many people at this time in the process are starting to basically let go of the outside world and life and whatever it meant to you more and more. Without being able to completely sever ties with it, our attention, our feelings, our energy started to go more inwards. And many of us perceived that something was not right with the outside world. We perceived it more and more as lies and maybe threats and control and all these negative aspects of it. And that is also a hallmark of the process, because it's not Judgment Day in the traditional sense. Therefore, I don't call it anything like that. I don't call this process the apocalypse or doomsday. I guess you can still call it the ascension, but in Swedish I call it utsilningsprocess, which means like a process of differentiation. I guess that would be the most similar word in English. A process of differentiation. And I call it a process where light is separated from darkness. And that does not mean that good people are separated from bad people and the bad people will be judged and be burned in hell for all eternity. No, it means darkness from light, truth from what is not true, soul from ego. All your internal contradictions and lies will be faced with the light of truth, you. So you, all of you, will face what's still holding you back from you. That is the process. So it's not supposed to be a big fight on the outside, but that is how the ego will try to play the game. Because if you are provoked by something on the outside, or if you feel tempted to judge something on the outside, I'm not the bad guy, those people are the bad guy. We use that as a sort of projection. So if I have a pain inside of me, I don't have to feel that pain if I project it onto someone else. So we relieve ourselves by doing that. I'm relieved from pain because I judged someone else. But that is what the ego is trying to do, always. The ego becomes like a thriller movie where the main character is in a dilemma because something is wrong in his world and it feels like everyone is collaborating against him and he only has one person he can trust, his best friend. So he goes to his best friend and his best friend gives him all kind of suggestion of what's wrong. It's wrong with that person, it's wrong with that group, it's wrong with that institution. You have to go and solve that, you have to go and solve that. It basically points in all directions. And then in the end, it's revealed that the problem is his best friend. That was the traitor, that was the problem who caused all the problem. So the one who's closest to you, your best friend, is the traitor, is the ego, who's giving you suggestions to look somewhere else, to go and look for solutions that are not solutions, who stresses you, who makes you panic, who creates fear and separation and competition and all of these. And they're lies. They're really lies. So in 2022, focus started to be much more on ourselves and our inner processes. And more we started to feel not as engaged as we used to be in what's happening on the outside. More thinking about how we could perhaps live without the outer society or system. And in all the areas where we still have blockages, we lack flow in our life. In these areas we have resistance in our life. Not only played out as outer resistance, but also mental difficulty, emotional pain, soul pain, whatever. Some kind of pain, some kind of resistance, some kind of fear. It's played out on all these different planes. And once you transform this blockage, once you transform it and you free it, instead there is flow and connection. I give the example when you are in a maze, in a labyrinth. So when you are in your blockage, you are like in a labyrinth, in a maze. And all you have are these walls and you have to go all these extra miles round and round. It's not constructive and it's difficult and you may be scared because you are alone. But then you transform that problem and it's like the walls come tumbling down. There are no walls anymore and you see your friends who was also in the labyrinth before but you hadn't seen them because of all the walls. And there you are together and you can move around freely. You have flow and you have synchronicity that is replacing what used to be resistance in your life. And then we come to 2023, a year when I have described it as new technology will come and the ships will come closer. And so many ask, well, what does that mean? It means that we're simply advancing so much now in the process that now it's all about actually raising higher and higher. And that creates all sorts of phenomena in your life. You may realize that your abilities, if you are a healer or a therapist, in whatever area of work you are working with people, you might realize that your gifts are becoming even heightened and you can do amazing things you didn't know was possible before. You might be discovering that you can cooperate with other people and you can join your energies and you can create even more amazing stuff. So all this is starting to change, and whether you are aware of it or not, your life has changed significantly to what it was before. You are now putting more and more energy and focus on this, on you, on the togetherness with other like-minded people, on what you're creating together, than you are on the outside. The outside is slowly falling out in the shadows. Even so, if you watch the news and you see complete chaos, we're gonna die, if not from a virus, then from a war, then from starvation, then from the climate. It's absurd at this point, everything we're supposed to be afraid of and be placed in a role of a victim that needs to be saved from someone else, maybe the experts on the outside. So we're letting go of that more and more. It's almost like we're bored of it. We can't even invest our energy in that anymore. It feels like repetition without substance. It starts feeling like maybe it's mad, maybe it's not even real. And this is starting to take over more and more and more. Just like waking up from a dream. And so in this process, the ships is coming closer. You existing, I used to say, you have this community on the higher planes in a dimension, and you can see that as your presence on the ship, if you would like. It's like a community up there that is now coming here and are sort of starting to merge. And the technology is all the things that will start to become easier for you to do, which before you couldn't imagine doing. But we are also now here in the process where part of you is really starting to rise, and you still have the last blockages that you have not yet dealt with, and they are keeping you locked here. So you might at this moment feeling a sort of stress that you can't really put a finger on. And this is the last resistance. And you're feeling it extra strong like now, maybe like a personal crisis in your life. Not about the outside, it's a personal crisis in your life. And you feel it because you feel this last blockage holding you back while other part of you want to move forward. So obviously it becomes a strain. And this last blockage, why it is the last blockage? Because what was easy for you to deal with, you've already dealt with. This is the most maybe impossible part that is left. And because of that, we got so used to it that we might not even realize it. Maybe the only way for us to realize that something is still wrong is by observing how our lives feel right now. Maybe a part of you feel, I'm done with this. I just want to be happy now. Just let me be happy. I'm ready to be happy. Maybe you're feeling like that and you have no idea why there's still pain left. And that's because of that. So yeah, you are ready to be happy. We still have the last cleaning job to do. And this last cleaning job is like a lump of energy that is really a lie. And it's feeling like fear. Every time you feel this problem, this blockage, you're gonna feel stress, like someone is out to get you. You feel separated from the group. Have you felt that? That when you are feeling this problem, whatever it is, you suddenly feel more separated from the community, more separated from your group of people. And you feel that you have to fend for yourself. You feel a sort of fear. No matter what the problem, it's the same feeling. And then when we feel this separation and panic and fear, and we feel that we lack something, I lack something, and the only way for me to deal with this lack is to collect and get whatever I'm lacking, so this fear and panic will stop. But this kind of solution, to go outside to get whatever you're lacking on the inside, won't do. And when you're thinking of doing this, you may feel more stress. That makes you feel even more separated. And that's the crazy ego dream. It don't want you to look inside and to know that you have all the power within. It does not want you to know that. It's the same on the outside. It wants you to say that you are a victim, that you are a helpless victim, and you don't decide anything. The outside decides everything, but it's not true. Because you are responsible for your own response. And only that can't really obey or control anything else on the outside, but you can decide over your own response. And that's really the only obligation that was ever placed on you or anyone. Because if you haven't noticed, no one can control the outside. Even those who are so-called controlling the world are not controlling the outside. They are influencing people's minds. It's not the same thing. The only thing anyone ever has is words, ideas. But no one controls the outside, no one can do that. The outside is just a result, the manifestation of what came before. It's static, it doesn't move, unless someone first have an idea of moving it. So no one controls the outside, but people are influencing the thoughts. So the only thing you really need to do is to take care of yourself and your energy. Think of it like this. When you wake up in the morning and you know that you have life energy, you are life energy, and you use this life energy on everything that you do. I use this life energy to rise myself out of bed. I use this life energy where I direct my thoughts, what I choose to say, what I choose to feel and think. It is my own choice how I use and place this life energy. But what happens? People, they don't live aware. They're not conscious. When we talk about spirituality, we're talking about being awake. And what does that mean? It means being conscious. Right now, I'm doing this because I am doing this. Right now, I'm picking up a glass of water. I'm aware and I take responsibility for what I am intending to do, my response, my thoughts. But if I'm not attentive, what exactly am I doing during the day? So at the end of the day, you can take up a notebook and you can write down, what did I use my life force on today? Was it my choice what I used my life force on? Or did I put it in someone else's power to choose for me? Did I respect my life energy today? Did I do something worthy and good with it? Something that matches how precious I see life and myself. Because if I don't have any respect for life or any respect for myself or anyone else person, I guess I'm not using that life energy very well, now am I? But the more I can take a moment and appreciate life, respect it, value it for what it is, and value myself with the exact same words, exact same feelings that I value life, life energy, and myself, because I am not separated from it. So if I give value and respect and depth to that energy, then I will value whatever I use it on. I won't use it to quarrel with someone or to self-destruct. I use it for something good, something worthy. And if I do that, no one can take that away from me. No one can misuse it. And whatever my ego has done, whatever hiccups it's done, whatever it's trying to hide from me, I will notice it because I am aware. So if I have this awareness of being conscious about what I use my life energy for, then when that fear happens, it won't matter because I decide over my response. And the lie won't be there anymore. these are some ways where you can start dealing with that ego, that false friend of yours that is always giving you the wrong ideas and solutions, where every solution points to someone else except yourself. So you have all the power. You have all the power to deal with this yourself. And it doesn't want you to see that. So, in this process right now, you may feel this stress, this press, this last crisis, if you so will, that is keeping you from feeling the happiness that you want to enter into. So that is basically what we're doing this year, I would suggest. So you're not alone in this process. You're not alone in feeling what you're feeling right now. Basically everyone is going through this. These are the last stuff that we need to filter out. And I've even heard some people really understanding this who says that I really understand now. I just want to move forward. And for some reason, I'm self-sabotaging this. It's here and here and here, it's a hinder. And I kind of get that, but I don't get what it is yet. So this can be a very common situation to be in right now. But persist and remember, you have all the power. So the ego basically wants you to feel guilty and separated. Keep you away from the crowd and keep you feeling that you are guilty. Because a guilty person doesn't do anything. A guilty person doesn't love. A guilty person doesn't express themselves. A guilty person gives away his power to someone else. A guilty person hides from the world instead of expressing themselves. A guilty person can be locked in and he will accept it. So if you have old memories where you know that you are locked in, you are keeping yourself hostage and another person hostage, a whole situation hostage, then don't. You have the ability to free them. You have the ability to be the peacemaker and give them love, understanding and peace and let go. You, not some outwardly judge, not someone else, not something that you will encounter later in time. Perhaps you will be saved. You are the person who loves you. I sometimes give this example because the ego wants to forget you to forget about you. I give this example of 1,000 lost people in the woods, all going around in the cold, dark woods, looking for love, looking for comfort, looking for light and warmth, encountering this cozy little cabin. Everyone is jamming themselves into this cabin, and an old grandma and grandpa is baking these cinnamon rolls. Yeah, we eat those in Sweden, so that's why the example is the cinnamon rolls. And everyone feels now so safe and so warm. And the question arises, but why are you not doing the same? Why are 1,000 people alone searching for love instead of creating it? We do not understand why this is not taking place. You are love. All you need to do is love, and you have love. It's the love you give to each other. It's the love you give to yourself. You are the one who loves this place or rejects loving this place. You are the one who gives love or holds love back. And the ego wants you to believe that you do not have this capacity. The ego wants you to believe that you are constantly lacking and that you are guilty. And that you, because of your sin, have to go outside like a beggar to be full again. And like a beggar, you have to hope that someone has the grace to give you something so that you may at least have the essentials in your life to survive. It wants you to feel like this. It wants you to ignore the fact that you are loved. So you may go around there thinking that I'm lacking love, I'm alone, I hope I can find someone who loves me. Instead of being the person who loves. And I can guarantee you there are no such thing as being alone when you love. There will always be people there, as many people as you like, and you will definitely never feel alone. but the ego wants to keep you separated. Did anyone have any questions on what happened during the pandemic? Where you were even supposed to think that togetherness with other people would kill you. That's how absurd, that's how far the ego idea will travel. So the more separation, the more fear, remember. And the more you break that chain of big lies, the more powerful and the more yourself you can be. So I always give the suggestion to say, I've never been separated and I am innocent. I've always been innocent. I've always been innocent and I have never been separated. And these sentences are so powerful because the ego's greatest lie is that you're separated and that you're guilty. So by just giving that affirmation, I'm not separated, I've never been separated, and I'm innocent, I've always been innocent, the lies discontinue and you take back your power. But you can say that the lies weakens every time you say those sentences, so just try it. So there you go, I hope to see you very soon again. I wish you a very nice day. I was going to say have a great summer, but depending on that you can be watching this from anywhere in the world, it could be winter as well. But I wish you a very good day, evening, night, whenever you're watching this. See you soon again.